Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in and joining this session on getting started with Zoho Books, a detailed walkthrough. So here today, we are conducting this webinar on our in-house webinar platform, that is Zoho Meeting. So let me give you a few details on that. All the uh, all the attendees will be on mute, and we will be as we conduct the webinar, you can raise your questions through the question and answer tab that's down there on the tab that is below, and all the question and answers will be answered by us, our product expert, by the end at the end of the webinar. So stay tuned till the end of the webinar so that you can catch up on the question and on your questions and get the answers live. So as today within this session, we will be covering a few how to get started with Zoho Books. We will be talking about how the flow that will take place in Zoho Books, and the hidden features that you may not know about will be taken through by our product expert here. So let me introduce the product expert for today who will be handling the session, that is Aravind. So over to you, Aravind.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure in inviting each and every one of you for today's webinar. So I'm Aravind and a product expert in Zoho Books, and I'll be presenting you the webinar today. So let's get started. So you can access Zoho Books by entering the URL as books.zoho.com. And Zoho Books is a cloud-based application wherein you'll be able to access the application anytime, anywhere with the help of an active internet connection. So the first page that you will be viewing is the dashboard. So the dashboard provides you a bird's eye information of your business financial health, wherein you'll be able to monitor the total receivables, the total payables, a graph towards your cash flow, and you'll also be able to view your major income and expenses for each time period. And you'll also be able to view a pie chart on your major expenses that took place in your organization. And also, you'll be able to view all the bank and credit card accounts that you have configured in Zoho Books and the closing balance for the corresponding accounts. So the closing balance will be generated based on the transactions that you have recorded in Zoho Books. So similar to the bank and credit cards, we do also have an account watch list, wherein if you wish to keep track of the closing balance of any particular account, you can configure this under the chart of accounts. Okay. So the first step in getting started with Zoho Books is that you'll be providing your organization details. And to provide the organization details, you can go to settings and first option, organization profile. So herein, you'll be updating your organization logo, your organization name, the industry in which you're operating in, and all the other details, etc. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to view the primary contact. The primary contact is nothing but whenever you send a mail to your contacts, that is to your customers or to your vendors, this will be the mail ID from which the mails will be sent. So if you wish to configure a different mail ID, if you wish to send any other mail ID apart from this one, you can configure this by selecting the option Configure Email Preferences. So here you'll be able to view the list of users who are part of your Zoho Books organization. So you can set any other email ID as a primary email ID so that the mails will be sent from that particular ID. And also kindly note that only the domains which are authenticated, so those mails will be sent where the domains are authenticated. If you are using any unauthenticated domain, or if you're using any public domain like Gmail, Yahoo, etc., so the emails won't be sent from your mail ID, but however, the emails will be generated from message-service@sender.zohobooks.com. So if you have any unauthenticated domains, those email IDs will be displayed here, and you'll be able to view an option known as Authenticate Now. So on selecting that option, you will be able to view the SPF and DKIM records. So you need to copy the SPF and DKIM records, and you need to paste it in your cPanel of your domain. So we have also provided a help document on how to configure this. So you can go through that, and you can configure or you can authenticate the domain in Zoho Books. And then continuing the organization profile. So if you scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to view certain fields like company ID or tax ID, which is present by default. Like if you wish to provide those details, you can. If not, you can skip. And if you wish to provide any other additional details like your FSSI number, your PAN number of your business, that can also be provided under add additional field. So you can select the option, you can provide the label name, you can provide the value for it, and you can click on save so that these details can also be incorporated in your organization's address format. So you can, once entering the details, you can click on save. And then the next part is that you'll be configuring your GST details. So in order to enter your GST details, you can go to same settings and taxes. So there you'll be able to view the GST settings. You'll be able to view an option whether is your business registered for GST. If yes, you can select the S option and then you can enter the GSTN number and all the other details. So if you want to incorporate reverse charge in your transactions, you can enable it here. And as well, you would all know that Zoho is a registered GSP. GSP is nothing but GST is Suvaida provider. So with the help of APIs, you'll be able to push your GST data directly from Zoho Books, and you will also be able to file your returns from Zoho Books itself. So if you wish to file your returns from Zoho Books, you can provide the online filing settings details, wherein you'll be entering the GST username, the reporting period, whether it is monthly or quarterly, and all the other details. And most importantly, the time period from which you wish to file your returns from Zoho Books, that needs to be updated here, and you can click on save. So once you provided these details, the next step is that there would be certain businesses who would have multiple branches. So in order to incorporate the branches, you can go to settings and branches, wherein you will be able to enable the branches option. Suppose enabling it, you will be able to provide your branches details in it. So if the branch is situated in the same state, well and good, you can use the same GST number. However, if the branch is situated in a different state, the first two digits of the GST number will differ by the state code, right? So in order to incorporate that, you can either select the choose, you can select the option add branch, wherein you'll be able to enter the additional GST IN, or you can also enter it under settings and taxes, and you can select the option new GST IN so that you can enter the GST number of the second and third branches. So once you have provided the branches details, the next step is that you will be inviting the users of your organization to access Zoho Books. So in order to provide access, you can go to settings, users and roles, wherein you will be able to view two tabs. One would be all users and another one would be roles. So in all users, you will be able to view the list of users who will be able to have access to your Zoho Books organization. And if you wish to provide access, like create access, view access for each of the modules, you can configure this under the roles tab. So by default, there are predefined roles in Zoho Books. However, if you wish to configure a custom role, you can select the option New Role, wherein you can provide a suitable role name. You can provide the access for which you wish to grant for any particular users. You can save that particular role, and in the users, either while inviting the user, you will be have the flexibility to choose the role in which you are inviting the user, or if the user is already invited, you can edit the user and then modify the role in which have access, like will be using which you'll be providing granting access. So the next step is that you'll be configuring your chart of accounts. So by default in Zoho Books, there are a predefined set of accounts that will be required for accounting. However, if you wish to add any additional accounts in the chart of accounts, you can do this. So you can go to the chart of accounts option module, and you can select the new account option. You can select the necessary account type. So on selecting each account type, we have provided a description here. So based on your requirement, you can select the account type, provide a suitable account name, and click on save. Kindly note that wherever if the fields are in red color, it is a mandatory field and we won't be able to skip that particular portion. So kindly provide those details and click on save. Another important feature in Zoho Books is that you'll be able to bulk import the data into Zoho Books using CSV and XLS formats. So for each module, we have provided a sample template. You just need to align the data according to the sample template that we have provided, and then you'll be able to import the data into Zoho Books. So either you can create the accounts manually or you can bulk import the data into Zoho Books. So bulk importing of data is not only restricted to chart of accounts. For each and every module, let's say for customers, for items, for each and every module, we have provided the import option. So the next step is that once you've created the necessary accounts, you can configure the banking modules. Like Zoho has partnered with multiple financial institutions like ICICI, Standard Chartered, HSBC, Yes Bank, etc., using which you'll be able to process the payment for your purchase bills. And since we do have a direct integration with these banks, we would also be able to fetch the fees directly from the bank servers. So adding to the list, Kotak using Kotak using Kotak also, we do have a direct integration, but we won't be able to initiate a vendor payment for Kotak. But however, we can fetch the fees directly from the bank server. So apart from these financial institutions, if you wish to import the statements automatically for a bank account, like you can select the option Add Bank or Credit Card. So we have partnered up with a service provider known as Yorly. So with the help of service provider, we will be able to import the bank statements automatically. You just need to select the option Add Bank Account, accept the terms and conditions. You will be selecting the desired financial institution, and then you'll be entering your credentials. Post that, voila, the feeds will be fetched automatically into Zoho Books. So if the feeds are successfully configured, here you'll be able to view a green color Wi-Fi symbol. So if the symbol is in green color, it means that the feeds are active and the feeds will be fetched. So if the feeds are fetched automatically also, here you'll also be able to differentiate the feeds. Like if the Wi-Fi symbol is present in it, it means that the feeds are fetched automatically into Zoho Books. So while configuring the automatic bank feeds, either you can select the add bank or credit card option, or if the bank or the credit card has been created automatically, but the feeds are not configured for it, it means you can select that particular account, click on the settings option. There you'll be able to select the option automatic import. So it redirects to the same page, and then you'll be able to enter the credentials, post which the feeds will be imported. So there are multiple ways of importing the bank feeds into Zoho Books. So among which one is automatic import. The second way is that you can also download the bank statement from the net banking portal in the PDF format, and then you can import it. You need not make any changes in the file. Just you can download the bank statement in the PDF format, select the settings option, choose import statement, select the file that you have downloaded from the net banking portal. If the file is password protected, you can select this option and enter the password. And so once you have uploaded the file, a pop-up box will be shown. There you need to select the name of the bank account. And then you can import the transactions. So it is as easy as automatic import. You just need to download the bank statement in the PDF format, and directly you can import it without making any changes. So this is one method. Another method is that, as I stated, you can bulk import the transaction in the CSV or in the XLS formats. So you just need to align the data according to the sample template that we have provided, and then you can import the bank statement into Zoho Books. So statements which are imported manually into Zoho Books doesn't consist of this automatic symbol. So you would be able to easily differentiate between the feeds which are imported automatically and the feeds which are imported manually. So the amount in Zoho Books is the closing balance of your bank account, while the fees are fetched from automatically. And the amount in bank is the closing balance of your bank account in Zoho Books that based on the transactions that you have recorded. If you have associated the bank account in your transactions, then the closing balance will be increased or decreased accordingly. Okay. So the next step is that you will be configuring your customers and vendors. So we have created the chart of accounts. We have created the bank account. The next step is that you'll be creating your contacts, that is your customers and vendors. So in order to create a customer, you'll be navigating to sales customers. So you can select the new option, enter the customer details, the GST and details of the customer, the address, etc. And you can click on save. As I stated previously, you can also bulk import the data with regards to your customer and you can save it. Similarly, for vendors, you can just repeat the same process, similar process for vendors. Just need to navigate to purchases vendors and create the new contact there. And the next step is that you'll be configuring the items in Zoho Books. So before proceeding to the items, if you wish to keep track of the inventory for your particular items, you need to first enable that option under settings and preferences. So we have seen multiple cases where the items would be created with the item type as goods, but the inventory tracking wouldn't have been enabled. So in order to enable the inventory tracking, kindly navigate to settings, preferences, items, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll be able to view the option enable inventory tracking. So the first time you need to enable this option and set the preferences according to your requirement and click on save. So post updating the preferences while creating a new item, you'll be able to view the option enable inventory tracking for that particular item. So So while creating an item, you'll be selecting the item type, whether it's goods or service. You'll be providing the suitable name for the item, the SKU, the HSN code. If it's goods, it will be HSN code. If it's service, it will be SAC code. And you'll be entering the sales and the purchase information. And if you wish to track inventory for the particular item, you can enable the option here, wherein you'll be able to select the account in which that stock must be kept track of. And also, if you wish to provide the opening stock for the particular items, you can enter the details here. So here you'll be entering the stock that is available while migrating to Zoho Books. And here you'll be entering the rate per unit of that particular item. So then don't get confused. The first field is for entering the stock that is available. And in the second field, you'll be entering the cost of that each particular item in Zoho Books. So here you'll be able to view the list of items that is already pre-configured. So we have configured the chart of accounts, the bank accounts. We have configured the contacts such as your customers and vendors. We have also configured the items. The next step is that you'll be configuring the opening balances. So if you're migrating to Zoho Books from a different accounting application, or if this is the first time that you're using an accounting application, you will be entering the opening balances, right? So to enter the opening balances, you can go to settings, opening balances. So here you'll be able to view the migration date. Like if you wish to start your financial accounting from this financial year, that is from 1st of April, you need to enter the migration date as 31st of March 2023. So we request you to kindly generate the trial balance report in your previous accounting application on 31st of March. Enter the details here and enter the migration date as 31st of March 2023, so that your financial accounting will be starting from 1st of April. So in the opening balances page, you'll be able to view the various categories, various account types that is available. On selecting each of the category, you'll be able to view the accounts that is already configured in your Zoho Books organization, and you'll be able to enter the credit or debit opening balances. So you can also bulk import the data for your opening balances. You just need to align the data, and then you can bulk import the data for your opening balances. If you wish to import the data, opening balance data for your customers and vendors, you can import the data with the help of a sample file. So in the sample file, you'll be specifying the contact name for which you're entering the opening balances, and then you can import it into Zoho Books. So this is one method for providing the opening balances for your customers and vendors. Another method to enter the opening balances for your customers and vendor is that you can directly go to the respective modules like sales customers. You can select any particular customer. In the overview page, we have provided an option known as view opening balance. So here you can enter the opening balance that for that particular customer. So if you have configured branches, you can also select the branch and you can enter the opening balance for that particular customer. So this is another method of entering the opening balance for customers and vendors. So if you wish to provide a negative opening balance either for the customers or vendors, that is if you have acquired an advance from your customer or if you have paid an advance to your vendor prior to the migration date, and if you wish to record it as an negative opening balances, you can record it as an advance transaction. So you can go to the respective modules like either payments received or for payments made. There you'll be able to view an option known as customer advance. So here you can record it as a transaction, but kindly note that the transaction date must be prior to the migration date so that this will be considered as an opening balance. So later you can update the details in the opening balance page. But however, the payment date must be on or prior to the migration date so that this will be considered as an opening balance. So in order to record a customer advance, you can go to payments received, select the customer advance tab. And in order to record the vendor advance, you can go to payments made and you can select the vendor advance tab. So we have entered the opening balances for your Zoho Books organization. Like another important feature that is available in Zoho Books is that you would also be able to forward your bank statement. Like the bank will be forwarding the bank statement to the registered users, right? to the registered user's email ID. So you'd be able to configure a filter in the mail application wherein the bank statements can be forwarded automatically to Zoho Books. So in order to configure that, you'll be going to the documents module. So you'll be selecting the bank statements option in it. So there we have provided a help document on how to configure the filter, and we also provided a video on how to proceed. So you just be configuring a filter in your mail application. Post that, the statements that are received in your mail ID can be forwarded into Zoho Books directly. So this is one such file. So once the statement has been forwarded, you'll be able to view the option add to bank, so that the statement processing, the import of your statement processing will be initiated. And there would be other preferences like whether you wish to sell your items at rates inclusive of tax or exclusive of tax, and whether you wish to round off your sale transaction to the nearest whole number, whether you wish to provide discounts at line item level of the transaction or at the transaction level while selling your items. So all these details can be provided in the preferences page. So in the preferences page, you'll be able to view each and every module that is available in Zoho Books, and you will be able to configure the preferences accordingly. So apart from that, we do have a set of fields for which you'll be populating the data if required. And apart from these fields which are already pre-existing, if you wish to configure any additional field, let's say for example, while transporting the goods to your customer, if you wish to state the vehicle number in which the goods are getting transported, you can configure it as a custom field. So in order to configure a custom field, you can go to settings preferences, you can select that particular module, select the field customization tab, and select the new custom field wherein you will be providing a label name. You'll be selecting the data type as per your preference. And if you wish to show this value in the template of your transaction, kindly select the option show in all PDF. If you wish to make this field as a mandatory one, you can select the option as yes. So kindly know that if you are selecting the mandatory option, then without providing a value, you won't be able to save that particular transaction. So while creating a transaction, that custom field will be displayed. So you can populate the values as per your requirement. It is not necessary that you need to always populate the values. If the field is left as blank, then that particular value won't be displayed in the template of your invoices. So this is just a sample invoice which I've created, but however, I haven't provided any value for the custom field. So the custom field won't be displaying in the transaction. And another important feature that is available in Zoho Books is approvals. So you'll be able to set up approval process wherein the users who are having the approval access would be able to review and approve the transactions. Only then those transactions will be creating an impact in your financial accounting. So in order to set up approvals, you can go to settings, preferences, approvals. So you'll be able to set up sales approval, purchase approval, and inventory approval. So approval can be set up at various levels. Either you can, whoever has the approval access can approve the transactions, or you can also configure a hierarchical level where hierarchical level of approval. So the approvers will be following a hierarchical process. But kindly know that if you are configuring an hierarchical approval process, the admins will be able to bypass the approval process and they will be able to approve the transactions directly. So if you have any questions until the topics that we have discussed, you can kindly reach out to us.
So, if you have any questions regarding the first session, first half of the session that Arvind took, you can ask the questions in the question bar tab that we have down there. We already have a few questions that Arvind will be answering right now.
Yeah, the first question would be like, can we customize the dashboard page? Like, we won't be able to customize the dashboard page. It is pre-configured in nature. Like, the second question is like how to add signature on invoices. Like, to add the signature in the invoices, there are two methods. Either you can incorporate it at the template level, and we do also have a digital signature option. Uh, Wherein if you have acquired a USB token from any of the service provider, you can download the Windows application of Zoho Books, using which you will be able to digitally sign your invoices. So apart from that, if you're not using digital signature, you can just add the signature image in the template of your invoice. I'll be showing the steps going forward. So you can add the signature image in the template of your invoice, and then so it be considered as an invoice signature. Okay. While creating an invoice, you'll be able to select only one salesperson at a time. But however, if you wish to keep track of the salesperson that are associated during a sale transaction, you can create it as a custom field, and you can provide the details in the custom field. But however, in the salesperson field, we'll be able to select only one salesperson during a particular transaction. Okay, like the next question is that can we add multiple items and sub item in one item group? Like, in Zoho, there isn't a concept of in Zoho Books, there isn't a concept of item groups. Like, you will be configuring the items as an individual item or an individual entity, wherein you'll be providing the purchase information, sales information. You'll be able to track inventory for it. Item groups is not available in Zoho Books. It is available in Zoho Inventory. Under salesperson, can we add one more tab for AC and is it AC means air conditioning or account handling person? Like, anyways, you can create it as a custom field, and you can enter the details in it. Is it possible to set up payment through Zoho Books like S Bank or ICICI Bank? So as I stated, to process the vendor payments, we do have partnered up with multiple financial institutions like ICICI, Yes Bank, HSBC, and Standard Chartered, using which you'll be able to initiate a vendor, you'll be able to make a payment for the purchase bills. And for regarding your sale transactions, we have partnered up with payment gateways such as Razorpay, ICICI EasyPay, to Checkout, Stripe payment gateways. So if you're registered in any one of the payment gateways, you can enter the credentials. Like, I'll show them the steps. Like, you can configure this under online payments. So as I stated, we'll be able to view the different payment gateways that is existing in Zoho Books. You just need to enter the credentials for that. So while creating an invoice, so I have a configured Razorpay in my Zoho Books organization. It's a sandbox environment. So while creating a transaction, you'll be able to view the payment gateway that is configured in Zoho Books. So you'll be able to enable the checkbox while creating an invoice, so that the customers would be able to initiate a payment using that. Like, I'll be explaining this furthermore going forward. So as of now, we do have multiple payment gateways that have been partnered up with Zoho. Okay, can you please tell me on how to enter opening balances in Zoho Books from the financial year 21 to 22? So as I stated, in the opening balance page, you'll be able to select the migration date. So transactions that are created post the migration date will be considered for current financial year's accounting, and transactions which are created or recorded prior to the migration date will be considered as opening balances. And we won't be able to enter opening balances for each financial year. So once you started using Zoho Books, if the current financial year ends, whatever is the closing balance for the accounts, automatically that will be carry forward as an opening balance for the next financial years. We won't be able to manually update the opening balance for each financial year. Like I'll I'll answer the last two questions and then I'll go forward with the next set of demo. Like if you're shifting our accounts to Zoho Books, the details of the vendor, etc., has to be key in by whom, how do the staff to do that. So as I stated, you can manually create each vendor in Zoho Books, or you can bulk import the vendor details with the help of CSV or Excel file. So you can just download the sample template that we have provided. You can key in the details according to the sample template, and then you can bulk import it. So if you're not aware of what are all the mandatory fields, or if you have created any custom fields for the modules, like the sample template would be generic of nature. So if you have customized by creating any custom fields, or if you're not sure about what are all the mandatory fields that needs to be provided while bulk importing the data, what you can do is that you can create a trial transaction or a dummy transaction for each module. We do have the option to export. I'll show you the steps. Like we do have the option to export, like for the data that is already pre-configured in Zoho Books. So you can just export the file based on the details that we have provided in Zoho, so that you'll get an idea on what are all the details that are mandatory and how to align the data in the file. So you can follow that process. How do I import from Tally? If you wish to migrate your data from Tally accounting software to Zoho Books accounting software, we do have provided a help document which consists of the steps on how to migrate the data from Tally, and we have also provided a video explanation for that. So you can follow the help documents to migrate the data from Tally to Zoho Books. Okay, so we'll proceed with the demo. So now we'll be seeing on how does the transactions are handled in Zoho Books. Like we'll start with the purchases. Like if you follow the process of recording a purchase order, then submitting the purchase order to your vendor, and then creating a bill from an existing purchase order, that can be done in Zoho Books. You just need to go to the purchase order module, create a new purchase order. So to create a new purchase order, you'll be associating with the vendor details, the delivered to address where the goods will be delivered either to you or directly to the customers. So those details can be updated here. So in the item table, whatever are the items that are already pre-configured in the items module, those details will be, it will be displayed in a drop-down menu. Either you can select any one of the items that is already pre-configured. If not, you can also directly type in as a description. It's not mandatory that you need to configure an item in Zoho Books, only then it will be associated in the transaction. It's not like that. You can also directly type in the description and you can update the details in it, like the SAC code, the account in which it will be kept track of, the quantity, the rate, etc. So the length here is a custom field which I have created. It won't be present by default. So if you want to provide any additional details for the items, you can configure it as a custom field for the items module. So that will be displayed as a separate column in the item table of the transaction. Kindly note that this won't be present by default in Zoho Books. It is a field which I have created. So you'll be providing the necessary details and you'll be clicking on save, either save as draft or save and send. So transactions such as purchase orders, estimates, sales order are all transactions that you record in Zoho Books to confirm your purchase with the vendor or your sale with your customer. However, this doesn't have any effect in your financial accounting. So only transactions such as bills, invoices, credit notes, vendor credits will affect your financial accounting. And if there are any items or if there are any inventory items associated in the transaction, your stock will be increased or decreased accordingly. So like this is a purchase order which I've already created. So and if you wish to, if that sale transaction or if the purchase transaction has been confirmed, you can select the option to convert to bill, so that whatever the details that was present in the purchase order, that will be carry forwarded during the bill creation page. And it is not necessary that whatever the items that was stated in the purchase order needs to be created as a purchase bill. Like there would be certain situations where the quantity would differ or the rate would differ, or you will be also making an additional item purchase. So all these details can be incorporated during the creation of a bill. It's not necessary that whatever the details that was provided in the purchase order, only that needs to be captured in the purchase bill. It's not like that. You can provide any additional information, or you can also update the transaction details. So so either to create a bill, you can create from an existing purchase order so that all the details will be automatically populated, or you can also create a new bill under the purchase module by navigating to purchases bills, selecting the vendor for which you wish to raise a bill. And I'll also like to inform you that based on the contact's details, such as if it is a registered, let it be customer or vendor. If it's a registered or unregistered, based on that place where the contact resides. Like if the contact is residing in the same state, then you will be providing GST taxes. If the contact is residing in a different state, then IGST taxes needs to be associated, right? So based on the details, automatically the taxes will be populated. So while creating a purchase bill, you will be entering the bill number, the bill date, as I stated, whatever the fields that are mandatory are will be displayed in red color. So you need to provide those details. And based on if it's the same state, as I stated, GST taxes will be automatically populated. If it's the contact is residing in a different state, then IGST taxes will be automatically populated. You need not worry about this. The system will be processing this in the backend. So as I stated, the purchase order doesn't create any impact. The purchase order or the sales order estimates doesn't create any impact in your financial accounting. However, transactions such as bills and vendor credits, like you'll be able to find the journals that are associated with the transaction. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the transaction, you'll be able to view the option display journal. So therein, you'll get the accounts that are associated in each transaction. So while creating a purchase bill or while creating a sale invoice, you do have the option to enter the TDS that needs to be deducted, either the TDS or the TCS that needs to be incorporated in your transaction. So below the item table, you'll be able to view these details, the TDS or the TCS, and you'll be able to view the sections that is already pre-configured in Zoho Books. Like if you wish to create any other TDS tags that is already apart from this one, you can select the option Manage TDS, wherein you can select the option New TDS tags, provide the tax details, select the section in which you wish to create a new TDS, and you can click on Save, so that you'll be able to associate that TDS section in your transactions. It is not only restricted for purchaser, this will also be displayed in your sales as well. The sales also consists of the TDS details. Okay, so similarly to the purchases, like if you follow the process like of recording an estimate and converting an estimate to a sales order and converting the sales order to an invoice, that can be done in Zoho Books. Similar to purchases, you can create an estimate. So once an estimate has been accepted by the customer, the status of it will be displayed. And if the estimate has been converted to an invoice also, even that status can also be displayed. So it will also be displayed in the purchase order as well. So you can check the status of the purchase order, whether it is built completely. If it is built completely, automatically the status will be updated as closed. If it's partially built, it will be still remain in the issued status. So unless and until all the items in the purchase order and all the quantity of the purchase order are converted to bill, it will still remain in the open status, that is in the issued status. So if you wish to convert an estimate to a sales order or to an invoice, you do have the option. You can just directly select that particular transaction or the particular estimate that you have created. Select the option convert to. So either you can convert it to an invoice directly or you can convert it to a sales order. So based on your preference, you can proceed. To directly record an invoice, you can just go to the corresponding module. Either you can select the plus option here, or you can select the new option here, create an invoice. Just simple steps you'll be associating with the customer, and the invoice number can be automatically calculated. Like you just need to enter the prefix and the starting number of the suffix, and you can select the option continue auto generating the invoice number, so that each and every time an invoice has been generated, the suffix will be automatically incremented by one. And at the end of the financial accounting, if you wish to modify the prefix, like if you wish to state the financial year like 23 to 24, or if you wish to update it to from 24 to 25, the system won't automatically do it. You need to manually update the prefix. However, the suffix will be automatically incremented. And also, if you wish to manually update the invoice number, only for one particular transaction, you can just update the invoice number here, and then you can select the option. I'll manually add the invoice number only for this particular transaction. So my organization, I have provided it is registered in Tamil Nadu, and my customer here is registered in Delhi. So since this is a different state transaction, IGST taxes will be automatically populated. If it's the same state, GST taxes will be automatically populated. You need not manually update the tax each time. Based on the source of supply and the place of supply, automatically the taxes will be updated accordingly. Just for information, you need not do it anything manually. And also, you can also update the place of supply here based on your requirement. It's not necessary that each and every time you need to configure these details in the customers module. You can also configure the details while creating the transaction as well. So similarly for the items, like for this particular item, I have provided the rate as 15. But however, if you wish to manually update the rate, you can also update it while creating a transaction like as 40 or 50. Based on your requirement, you can update it. It's not necessary that you need to provide the actual value while creating the data in Zoho Books. You can manually update it during the transaction level as well. And if you're aware about the TDS that the customer will be deducting, you can enter the TDS details or the TCS details here. So if you're not aware about those details, you can leave it, not an issue. But however, if the customer deducts the TDS to you, and if the customer pays the balance amount, let's say, for example, this invoice is for value of 1,000 rupees. If, for example, if the customer deducts 100 rupees as TDS and pays you the balance 900, you can enter the amount received as 900. And under tax deducted, you can select the option yes, TDS deducted, and you can select that account in which the TDS needs to be kept track of, and enter the amount that has been deducted as TDS. So while recording the payment, you'll be selecting the cash or the bank account in which you have received the payment. Kindly select the payment date in which you have received the payment, so that it will be helpful for matching the transaction with your bank statement, or while reconciling your bank statement, it will be useful for you. And if you have created configured branches in your organization, while creating any transactions, you do have the option to select the branch for which this particular transaction has been created. As of now, only one branch is configured in my organization, so only one option is displayed here. If there are multiple branches in your business, you need to configure this under settings branches, post which those options will be auto populated here. And if you wish to write off any invoices, like there would be certain circumstances like the customer would be paying you, right? So in order to write off any invoice, you can navigate to sales invoices, select the particular invoice for which the payment, like which you feel that needs to be written off. And under record payment, you'll be able to view the option write off. So on uh, writing off will be considered as an expense, and the account that will be associated is a bad debt account. However, if you don't wish to keep track under the bad debt account, you can record it as a credit note, and then you can apply the credits in the invoice. So I just written off the invoice. As you can see, it is being associated in the bad debt account. So bad debt account is of account type expense. So this will be considered as an expense. And also you can cancel the write-off if the customer has paid you the amount. So while creating a transaction, you'll be able to use an option save as draft and save and send. So saving it in the draft status is just for like if you want to review the transaction and then if you wish to mail it to your customer, you can save it in the draft status. But however, keep in mind if a transaction is saved in the draft status, it doesn't affect your financial accounts. As it is displayed, journal entries will not be available for invoices in the draft status. For any transaction, like for bill also, if it's saved in the draft status, it won't be affecting your financial accounting. And while recording payment also, like there would be some financial institutions who would be deducting commission charges for the service that they will be rendering, right? Like they will be deducting around 1% or 0.5% as part of commission charges. But however, the end customer won't be liable to pay you this amount. So in that case, what you can do is that you can enter the entire amount that the customer has paid you. And we do have a separate field known as bank charges. So here you can enter the amount that has been deducted by the financial institution as part of the service that they are providing, and you can click on save. So whatever the value that has been entered here, that will be considered as an expense, and the expense account will be bank fees and charges. And if you wish to send an email like as a gratitude for the payment that you have received from the customer, you can enable that option and you can click on record payment. And also, like if you wish to avoid any particular transaction, like let it be a sale transaction or a purchase transaction, both would be similar. You can you can just select that particular transaction under more. You'll be able to view the option to avoid it. Similarly, for sales also, you'll be able to view the option void it. And also, there would be circumstances where your customer would be residing abroad, like out of India. And if either you can purchase an item from an abroad contact or you can sell an goods to your abroad contact. So while creating the customer or the vendor, you'll be entering the GST treatment as overseas. So if the GST treatment is overseas, automatically the tax for that particular contact will be IGST 0. And you can also enter the currency associated for that particular customer. So while creating transactions for that particular customer, automatically that particular currency will be auto-populated. As you can see, so as you can see, this is the customer with the currency as dirhams. So while creating a transaction for an customer who's residing abroad, and based on so the exchange rate will be automatically populated and it will be displayed at the transaction level. So we'll be fetching the exchange rate with the help of a service provider. However, if you wish to manually update the exchange rate also, you can do it by selecting the edit option, enter the exchange rate for the particular transaction, and you can save it. So since the GST treatment is overseas here, automatically IGST 0 will be applied. And as well, there will be scenarios where you'll be applying taxes since you don't have the LUT or bond, that is a letter of undertaking or bond. So you can enable this option so that you'll be able to apply taxes. So if you wish to apply taxes, you can record it. You can record it during the creation of a shipping bill. So whenever you're selling a goods to an overseas customer or whenever you're purchasing a goods from an overseas vendor, you will be recording a shipping bill or a bill of entry, right? So in order to incorporate those details, you can select that particular transaction for which you wish to create a shipping bill or a bill of entry. Just under the more option, you'll be able to view the option create shipping bill. So here you'll be able to enter the shipping bill details that you have acquired, and then you can click on save. Similarly, for to create a bill of entry, you can select the transaction which is associated with an overseas customer or a overseas vendor. Under the more, you'll be able to view the option create bill of entry. So just you need to enter the details that you acquired in the bill of entry and you can click on save. And if you wish to write off a purchase bill, what you can do is that you can create a vendor credit associating an income account. You'll be entering the rate for which you wish to write off. Like you'll be entering the purchase bill value that needs to be written off. You'll be entering it here. You can select the tax as out of scope so that this doesn't come under the scope of GST, and entering the details. And it's not necessary that you need to associate it with a particular item. You can just provide a description as to why are you writing it off. Select the account in which you wish to keep track. So usually you can associate it with any of the income account to write off any purchase bill. The quantity will be 1, the rate would be the amount of the bill that needs to be written off, and you can click on save. So once a vendor credit has been recorded, it will be shown as an credit for the particular vendor. So either you can apply the credits for the bill that needs to be written off. So as of now, there are no purchase bills associated for this particular vendor. So if you need to write off any purchase bill, you can select the option apply to bills. So from here, you can apply the credits on any particular bill. And also in the overview page of the contact, you'll be able to view the option unused credits. So you can select that and you can select the option apply to bills. But however, there are no open bills for this particular vendor, so you won't be able to apply the bills. Similarly, you can follow the same for customers for a sale transaction also. At the top, you'll be able to view the option apply to invoices. So here, there is an invoice like with the value of 3245. If you wish to apply the credits value on any invoice, you can enter the amount of credit that needs to be associated on the invoice. So let's say around, if I say 100 rupees, automatically that particular value will be removed or will be deducted in the total invoice value, and the balance will be displayed. So if you wish to write off, either you can select the option record payment and write off, or you can create a credit note and apply the credits on the transaction. Let it be sale or a purchase. And as I stated, we do have multiple payment gateways that have partnered up with Zoho. So if you don't want to, if you don't want to use any payment gateways, and if you wish to receive the payments via UPI, you can also configure QR code. So under settings preferences, you can go to the invoice module and you'll be able to view an option known as invoice QR code. So there you'll be able to provide a sample, like it's not a sample code, it's a piece of code wherein I have entered my UPI ID here. So on entering the details, your UPI details, automatically a QR code will be populated in the invoice. So on scanning this QR code, the invoice value will be automatically populated in the UPI application. So this needs to be scanned with the help of a UPI application. And on scanning it, you'll be able to view this value. And whatever is the UPI ID that is provided in the invoice QR code configuration, the amount will be transferred for that particular UPI ID. This is one method of receiving payments. And as well, not all the times you will be making a payment in full. Like there would be installments of payment for any transaction, let it be sales or purchases. So if the customer has been providing the amount in like in installments, you can record the payment multiple times. You just need to enter the value that the customer has provided. Let's say that for out of 3,000, if the customer has paid you only 100, you can record the payment as 100. Enter the date in which the customer has paid you, select the account in which you have received the amount, let it be a bank account or a cash account, and then you can click on record payment. You can record multiple payments for any transaction. It is not that you need to record only the entire value as a payment. You can record multiple payments. And if you wish to record salaries that you are providing to your employees in Zoho Books, there are multiple methods to record this. Either you can record it as an expense. So while creating an expense, you can associate the salary account. So by default, we do have an option salaries and employee wages. You can associate with that particular account. Select the pay through as the bank or the cash account using which you are making the payment. And if there are no GST taxes associated in it, as stated, you can select the option out of scope and you can click on save. However, if you wish to keep track of the salary that is paid to each employee, this can also be incorporated. Either you can create a new account in the chart of accounts for each of your employee, So I have created an account in my name so you can select that particular account so that the salaries will be kept track for each individual. Or you can also record the employee as a vendor and you can record it using a purchase bill. So both the methods you would be able to record the salaries. And if you have acquired a loan or if you are providing a loan to someone, that can if you wish to keep track of it, that can also be done. Let's say you are providing a loan to someone, so to some outsider, and if you wish to keep track of it, you need to first configure it in the chart of accounts. So you can create a new account with the account type as other current asset. For the loan that you have provided to any outsider, you can provide a suitable account name. You can save it. So while providing the loan to any outsider, you will be recording this as an expense. So under purchases expenses, you'll be selecting the expense account as the asset account that you have created right now. And the pay through will be the bank or the cash account from which you have provided the amount to the as a loan. So by recording this as an expense, the asset value of that account will be automatically increased. And whenever the customer to back that amount, you can record it in the banking module. So you can go to the banking module, select the account in which the contact has repaid you the loan. So under add transaction, under money union, you will be able to view the option deposit from other accounts. So in that, you can select the from account as the loan account that we have created right now, so that the asset value will be considerably reduced and can also be nullified. So similarly, if you are acquiring any loans from any financial institutions, you can also record this by creating it as a liability account. So while providing a loan to any outsider, you'll be recording associating with an asset account. While acquiring loan from a financial institution, you'll be creating it as a liability account with with account type as other current liability. Same process. When the money gets deposited in a bank account, you can go to the banking module, select the bank account in which the amount has been deposited. Under add transaction, you can select the option deposit from other accounts and select the account that we have created a few seconds ago. Other current liability, so that the liability value will be increased. So whenever you're repaying the loans back to the financial institution, you'll be either recording it as an expense or a purchase bill. That would depend upon your requirement. Both has a similar workflow, but it doesn't matter whether if you record it as an expense or a purchase bill. That would depend upon your requirement. So you can record it while recording it as an expense, you'll be associating the liability account that you have created, and the pay through account will be the bank account. If there are no GST taxes that needs to be levied on, you can just select the option out of scope, so that this doesn't come under the scope of GST. Similarly, while creating a purchase bill, uh, in the account column, you can select the liability account that you have created and record it as a purchase bill. So recording it as a bill or an expense, that would depend on you totally. And also there will be some circumstances where an employee of yours will be making an expense on behalf of the organization. And in order to record that, same process, you can create, like if an employee makes an expense on behalf of you, you need to, and if you'll be reimbursing the amount at a later point of time to him, what you can do is that you need to record it as two expense transactions. The first expense, so before that, you need to first create an respective accounts. Either it will be an asset account, either if you're providing the amount to your employee, and if at a later point of time, if the employee makes an expense on behalf of the organization, or if the employee makes the expense first and then you'll be reimbursing at a later point of time. So depending on the situation, either you need to create an asset account or a liability account. So if the employee first makes an expense on behalf of the organization, and if you will be reimbursing him at a later point of time, you need to create a liability account in the chart of accounts. And what so on whichever domain he has made an expense towards the organization. Let's say that if he had paid the charges for internet on behalf of the organization, you will be selecting the expense account as the usual expense account in which you'll be keeping track of the internet charges, and the pay through account will be the liability account using which the employee has made an expense on behalf of you. So by doing so, the liability will be increased. At a later point of time, when you will be reimbursing this amount back to your employee, you'll be recording this as another expense, and this time the expense account will be the liability account, The pay through account will be the bank or the cash account in which you're reimbursing the employee. And if there are no GST taxes, then you can select the option out of scope. So while recording this, the liability of the employee will be the liability towards your employee will be decreased. And yeah, recording payment for transactions such as your invoices or for your purchase bills. You will be recording this under either payments received or for payments made, depending on the scenario. And then you will be matching that payment with the bank statement. So in the banking module, uh, there can be two activities that can be carried out. Let's say if you have already recorded the bank, if you already recorded the payment transaction in Zoho Books, you will just be matching the transaction with the bank entry statement that is reflecting. However, if the payment has not been recorded yet, and if you wish to record the payment, instead of recording it in the payments received, you can all directly go to the banking module, select the deposit entry account or the withdrawal, and you can also select the option categorize manually. So in the categorize manually, you can select the concerned category if it's an invoice payment or if it's an interest income. So based on the situation, you can select the necessary category and you can click on save. So categorize manually is nothing but you'll be recording the transaction and a concerned journal and the concerned journals will be created. However, matching the transaction is that if you have already recorded the payment, you just need to match the transaction with the bank statement here. So if the payment has been already recorded, you'll be able to view a list of best matches and possible matches for that particular based on the values that is reflecting in the bank statement. So I have already recorded a payment here, which matches perfectly with the bank entry. So you can just select the option match. So on selecting the option match, the value will be removed from the uncategorized transactions and it will be displayed under all transactions tab of in a banking module. So the difference between match and categorize is that you'll be matching the transaction with the bank entry statement that is displayed. And while categorizing, you will be recording a transaction directly from the banking module and the concerned journals will be passed. So don't get confused between match and categorizing. And don't record it twice. Like don't record it directly in the as in the payment module as well in the categories. Like if you record it in the categories as well as in the consent payment module, then the transaction will be recorded twice and it will be considered as a redundant entry in your financial accounting. So kindly check and take necessary actions. So once you've matched or categorized the transaction, and if you wish to reconcile your bank statement, you can just go to the banking module, select the concerned bank account for which you wish to reconcile. Under the settings option, you'll be able to view the option reconcile account. So here you'll be able to reconcile the transactions with a bank statement. So you can select the option initiate reconciliation, post which you'll be entering the start date and end date for reconciliation. You'll be entering the closing balance, and then you can click on start reconciliation. And if you wish to undo the reconciliation that you have done previously, you can just go to the banking module, go to the reconciliations tab. And here, if you wish to undo the reconciliation, in the dropdown, you can just select the option undo reconciliation so that the reconciliation will be removed or it will be undone. And also there will be certain scenarios wherein like it will be reflecting as a single entry in your bank statement. But however, in your Zoho Books, you will have been recorded the transaction in a split manner. Let's say that I had paid 1,500 for to the same contact, but however, the expenses will be recorded as a separate transaction. So in order to match two different transactions with a single bank entry, you can just select that particular transaction. Let's say that out of those, I am selecting a bill for 1,500 and the balance 1,000. So there won't be any pending amount, and then you can directly match it. So matching a single bank entry with two different transactions in Zoho Books can also be done. As well, there will also be certain scenarios that in the bank statement, there will be two different entries, but in Zoho Books, it will be displayed as a single transaction. You would have recorded as a single transaction. Let's say, for example, 666 and 430 are two different bank entries or two different payments that has been that you have initiated. But however, in Zoho Books, if you have recorded as a single transaction and if you wish to match it, you can just enable the option multi-select and match. So on selecting this option, you'll be able to select multiple bank entries, and post that you'll be able to view the best matches and possible matches for that. So you can directly click on match so that both the bank entries will be removed and it will be displayed under the all transactions tab, either matched or categorized. So let's have a small break. If you have any queries, you can state your queries in the chat session. So I'll be going through a few questions and post that we'll continue with the webinar. So bank charges option is not available in the purchase payment. Yeah, so if while if the bank is directing charges during the payment of your purchase, you need to record it as an expense separately. and not this like similar to like similar to sale payment, you won't be able to record it in the purchase payment. However, you need to record as a separate expense. If the customer is based in Dubai but the services are provided in India, then under what category the customer should be created for GST treatment? Like if the customer is based in Dubai and if you are providing the services in India, there would be a contact address or a registered address in our country itself. So you can get the address or you can get the details of that and you can update the GST treatment accordingly. Let's say, for example, like Zoho or Microsoft would have offices in multiple countries, but as well in India, they would be having a registered office or registered business in in India itself. So based on, you can get those details from the contact and then you can select the GST treatment accordingly. So if there are any commission charges that is deducted by the payment gateways, like if you are receiving the payments through the payment gateways that is already existing in Zoho Books, and if the customer makes a payment using the payment gateways, then automatically the status of the invoice will be updated as paid, and the bank charges that Razorpay deducts will be recorded under the bank fees and charges. So if you're using any of the payment gateways that is existing in Zoho Books, you do not enter the you do not enter the payment details manually each and every time. Automatically, those details will be passed due to integration. Okay, how can we create credit notes without reference to any specific invoices? For example, turnover discounts which do not have any reference to single invoices. Let's say if you are providing any post-sale discount for your customer, or if you're acquiring any post-sale post-purchase discount with your vendor, it's not mandatory that you need to associate it with any invoice number or bill number. I'll show you that. Creating a credit note, you'll be associating with any customer, and either you can provide the invoice number or you can select the invoice type. So if you can select the invoice type, you can select the reason for creating a credit note. You can just type in as the description, let's say like post sale discount. Update the rate of discount that you're awarding to your customer. And if there are no GST taxes that can be levied, you can just select the option out of scope. So it's not mandatory that you need to select or associate it with an invoice each and every time you create a credit note or a vendor credits. You can just select the customer type or the vendor type, if it's registered or unregistered, if it's a consumer, etc. And also, as I stated, for overseas customer, the taxes will be IGST 0, and even for SEZ customers or vendors, like if the contact is situated in a special economic zone, then also the taxes will be updated as IGST 0. And while creating a credit note or a vendor credit, unless and until if the goods is returned back to you, if don't select any particular item in the vendor credit, because that will increase or decrease the stock. So if you're creating a credit note, this will increase the stock on selecting any inventory tracked items. If you're just providing any discount to your customers post the sale, you can just type in it as a description, enter the rate or that you will be awarding a discount to your customer, and then select the option out of scope so that your inventory will be left untouched. And also this will be as an credit for that particular customer or for your vendor. If you have if you have done some entries wrong in chart of accounts, and we want to change this head, but the entries have done on behalf of this account, how can we correct it? Okay, so if you have associated transactions, but with the account that needs, like with a wrong account, and if you wish to make changes in it, like we do have an option known as bulk update. So for that, you need to first create a new account with the necessary account types. And once a new account has been created, you can go to the accountant module. You'll be able to view the option known as bulk update. So there you'll be able to view the option filter and bulk update. So select the account in which the transactions have been associated previously. Let's say, for example, sales account. If you are able to jot down the further details of your transactions, you can provide it and you can click on search. If not, just the account name will do. And so on clicking on search, you'll be able to view the transactions associated with those with the account that is previously associated, and you'll be able to view a checkbox to the left of each account. So you can multi-select the transaction that needs to be bulk updated, and you can select the update option. So select the new account in which you wish to keep track of it, and you can click on replace, so that whatever transactions that was associated previously with the account will be updated to the new account. So Zoho Books does not it's not like we do have only bulk import. You can also bulk update your transaction details. And also, while converting an purchase order or a sales order to a purchase bill or to a sale invoice, like if not the all the items or all the quantity are recorded as a sale transaction or a purchase transaction, and like let's say that you are 10 quantities have been recorded in a sales order, out of which only 5 will be invoiced, and if the balance won't be converted to an invoice, the status of the sales order will be still in open status. So however, if you wish to close it, we do have an option known as cancel items. So you can select that particular transaction, the particular sales order. At the top, you'll be able to view the option with 3 dots in it. That is the more icon. So under that, you'll be able to view the option cancel items. I'll also show it to you. So this is a sales order, out of which 11 quantity has been recorded in it. Like out of the 11 quantity, if I'm only if I'm only selling 5 quantities to one customer and balance 6 quantity needs won't be recorded as an invoice means, then you can select the icon with 3 dots in it. Under that, you'll be able to view the cancel items option. So enter the items that will be cancelled so that the status of the sales order will be closed. Can also be done in the purchase order as well. So we'll continue with the webinar. So as of now, we have recorded the transaction in your Zoho Books, and the next step is that you will be processing your GST. So as I stated, Zoho is a registered GSP, that is a GST Suvaida provider. With the help of APIs, you'll be able to push your GST returns from Zoho Books, and you'll also be able to file them. So once you have provided the details of your GST under settings and taxes, you'll be able to push your GST returns from Zoho Books. So you can go to the GST filing module. Since I have enabled branches, I'm able to view each of the GST number. So you'll be able to view a split of the GST number. Since there is only one GST number in my organization, there is only one GST number that is displayed here. So you can click on View Summary, wherein you'll be able to view GSTR1, 3B, 2, 2B, etc. And you can also file your annual returns from Zoho Books. So As I stated previously, if the transactions are in the draft status or if the transactions are in the approved status, your financial accounts won't be associated and that won't be considered for GST filing. So kindly verify the status of the transaction. It needs to be either in the open, overdue, or in the paid status. Only then your transactions affects your financial accounting and that will be considered for GST filing. So in order to push and file your transaction, you can go to the GST filing module. So here you'll be able to view the option push to GSTN. So on selecting push to GSTN, the data will be pushed from Zoho Books to the GSTN portal, and you'll be receiving a notification or a mail once the data has been successfully pushed to the portal. And once the data has been pushed to the portal, you can select the option file your return so that you'll be able to file your returns directly from Zoho Books. So there will be certain situations where the data would have been pushed from Zoho Books, but however, you come to know that there needs to be certain transaction that needs to be updated in Zoho Books. So in that case, what you can do is that you can reset the push. So once you select the option reset push, you'll be able to edit the transactions, update the transactions with the correct values, and then later once again you can initiate a push from Zoho Books to the GSTN portal. So similarly, if you have also filed the returns in the portal and at a later point of time, if you wish to make any changes to the transactions, then whatever is the changes that you need to do, that you need to pass it as an amendment in the GSTN portal. And in order to incorporate those changes in Zoho Books, you can go to the GST filing module. Let's say that you have filed your GST R1, and if you wish to make some changes in your sales invoices, what you can do is that in the file your return tab, there would be a separate option known as mark as unfiled. Similar to reset push, in your file your return tab, you'll be able to view that option. So since this is a demo organization, I won't be able to show you that option here, but in your file your return tab, you'll be able to view the option mark as unfiled. So on marking the return as unfiled, you will be able to edit the transactions, update it with the appropriate value. And once again, you can go to the GST filing module. Under file your return tab, you'll be able to view the option mark as filed. So if you won't be pushing or filing your returns from Zoho Books, however, if you file your returns directly in the portal, you can just select the option mark as filed so that the concerned journals will be passed automatically in Zoho Books so that your liability will automatically be reduced once you update the return as filed. And if you wish to generate reports to file the returns manually in the portal, you can just navigate to the reports module. So under the taxes category, like you do have various reports for, you can generate the summary of outward supplies report for the GSTR1. You can generate the summary of inward supplies report for GSTR2. Like you will be able to configure the report based on the time period that you require. You can also select a custom date range to generate the report, wherein you'll be able to select the start date, and the end date, and then you can generate the report. Also, if there are multiple GSTN that is configured in your Zoho Books organization, you can select the option in the dropdown. So you'll be able to generate the reports based on for each GSTN number, and then you can file it in the GSTN portal. So the reports can also be exported either in the PDF, XLS, and in the JSON format also. So summary of output supplies is for GSTR1, summary of inward supplies is for GSTR2, and we do have a separate report for GSTR3B, that is GSTR3B summary. You can export the report in a desired format, and then you can use it to file the returns in the portal. So if you're making any payments towards the GST and filing, and if you wish to record it in Zoho Books, you can go to the GST filing module. At the top, you'll be able to view the GST payment options. So whenever you make a payment on filing a GSTR 3B, you can select the option GST payment, click on record payment, enter the amount that has been paid under each category, populate the details as required, and then you can click on record payment. So if you wish to file, if Zoho Books has also compliant with E-Invoicing, that is, you will be able to push your invoices directly from Zoho Books to the IRP portal. So if you wish to enable E-Invoicing in Zoho Books, you can go to the settings preferences. There you'll be able to view the E-Invoicing option. So you can enable the E-Invoicing. And once the invoicing has been enabled, whatever the transaction that has been created for a B2B customer, like if an invoice has been created for a registered customer, you will be able to push those transactions to the IRP portal. Not only invoice, your credit notes can also be pushed to the IRP portal. And next, we'll be seeing on how to like customize or how to automate certain processes. Like uh, if you wish to rename the estimates module to performa invoices, you can do this at the template level. You can just navigate to settings, templates. So we have provided the templates for each and every module. For invoices, we have provided 18 different types of templates. So you can go through the templates that is all available with us. And you can also customize certain fields in the template as per your requirement. So for the estimates, if you want to generate a performa invoice, you can just rename the estimate to performa invoice. So as you can see, either you can rename the sales order or the estimate to performa invoice, and then you can mail it to your customers. And we'll also be able to configure reminders. So if the customer hasn't paid your that the customer hasn't turned up with a payment after a long period of time, we can also configure reminders. We can also configure automatic and manual reminders in Zoho Books. So while configuring the reminder, you'll be setting the trigger date, like so and so dates after the due date or before the due date. You can configure this under the reminders module so that the reminder will be triggered automatically and it will be sent to your customer. If the payment has been recorded for that particular invoice, then then the reminder won't be triggered. And also, we do an option known as SMS. That is, you'll be able to send SMS notification to your contacts from Zoho Books. So we are also providing SMS credits. So you can purchase the SMS credits. So in one credit, you will be able to use up to 300 SMS. So you can send SMS directly from Zoho Books. And or if you have purchased a service from any other third-party service provider, you need to configure the DLT registration. So you can configure the DLT registration in Zoho Books, and then you can send the SMS. If you wish to initiate a data backup, if you want to take a data backup of all the data that is present in your Zoho Books organization, you can initiate a backup under Settings, Data Backup. So you can select the option backup your data so that all the transactions or all the data that has been recorded in Zoho Books will be consolidated in a CSV file, and that will be sent to your registered email ID, that to the admin's email ID. But so once you have initiated a data backup in Zoho Books, you won't be able to initiate another backup for the next 15 days. So, and also you can also back up the documents that you have recorded in Zoho Books. So backing up your data or backing up your documents both follows a similar process. If you wish to export the data, if you wish to take a backup of your data for each module, you can also go to the appropriate modules, select the more option at the top right corner, and select the export option. So this doesn't have any time. So you can export the transactions as and when required based on your requirement. And also we do have a customer and vendor portal, which would be like a self-service portal. So the customer and vendor portal is nothing but a dedicated environment for each of your customer and vendor, wherein they will be able to view the transactions associated with them. And if there needs to be any changes in the transactions, they can also update it, or they can also post it as a comment in the portal. So if you need to configure portal for your customers or for your vendors, you can go to the customers or to the vendors module, select that particular contact for which you wish to award the portal access to them. So in the overview tab, you'll be able to view the option portal status, whether enable or disable. So you can select the settings option right next to it. And if you wish to enable the portal, you can tick the checkbox right next to the email ID and you can click on save. So on enabling the checkbox, an invitation will be automatically generated and sent to the mail ID of that particular customer. So wherein they'll be able to accept the invitation and they'll be able to they'll be able to configure the credentials, the password for the portal. So you can also share the portal URL to the customers manually. So in order to generate them, you can go to Preferences, Customer Portal. You can copy the URL here. You can paste it in a separate tab. And this would be the page using which the customer or a vendor will be accessing the portal. So you can click on the sign in option, wherein you'll be able to view the transactions associated with that particular customer. You'll be able to view the estimate. You'll be able to view the invoices that has been associated with a particular customer. And let's say if there needs to be any changes that needs to be made in the transaction, you can also post it as a comment in the transaction so that the users in of your Zoho Books organization will be notified automatically. And the customer can also generate the statements directly from the portal. So the portal will be reducing, or the portal will be optimizing the communication with your customers and your vendors. And if you wish to manually generate the statement in your Zoho Books, either for the customer or for your vendor, you can go to the customers or to the vendors module, select that particular contact. So at the top, you'll be able to view the statement tab. So you'll be able to configure the date range for the statement. And then if required, you can also either send an email to the customer, or you can also export it, or you can also print it. So based on your preference, you can proceed. So there would also be some scenarios where the customer can also be a vendor, like you would be selling your services or goods to the same contact, and you can also be purchasing per goods or services with the same contact. So in that case, whatever is the balance amount only will be transferred to the corresponding bank account, right? So let's say, for example, uh, like I purchase a subscription with Zoho, like I purchase a Zoho book subscription, and also I'll be providing services to Zoho. Let's say the purchase of my Zoho books or subscription is 1,500, and the sale with Zoho is just 1,000 rupees. So the balance 500 rupees, I'll be paying it to Zoho, right? The 1,000 and 1,500 gets knocked off, and the balance 500, I'll be making a payment to Zoho. So in order to incorporate that, what you can do is that you need to create the contact twice, one in the customer as well as in the vendor as well. And then what you can do is that you can select the option link to vendor. So on selecting that option, you'll be able to view the outstanding receivables and the outstanding payables for that particular customer. So let's say that I have created a sale invoice with a value of 1,000 rupees for the same contact, and have also recorded a purchase bill with a value of 1,500 for the same contact. So in this scenario, like okay, so as the message states that if a payment has been either matched or categorized, we won't be able to delete the payment. So first we need to either unmatch or uncategorize it. Only then we will be able to delete the payment. So I'll create a new bill. Are you able to view my screen? I'm sorry, apologies. So as I was saying that if you have a contact wherein you'll be purchasing a goods as well as you'll be selling your services or goods to the same contact, then you need to create the contact twice, one under the customers and another under the vendors, and we will be linking them. So in order to link them, what you can do is that you can select that particular contact. I have already linked this contact. So in order to link a contact with an existing vendor, what you can do is that you can select that particular customer, either in the customer's module or in the vendor's module, you can go to the more option and select the option link to vendor. So on selecting that, you'll be selecting the same contact which you have configured in the vendors module, and then you'll be able to link them. So on linking them, you'll be able to view the outstanding receivables and outstanding payables in the same page itself. Okay, so let's see on how to handle the situation where the customer and the vendor is the same, right? So I have created an transaction with a value of 1,000 rupees, a sale transaction with the value of 1,000 rupees, and let's say that I purchase a license with Zoho with the same contact. This time the value will be, let's say this time the value is 1,500. So during the record pay, like while recording the payment, we'll be paying the balance amount only, right? So in order to consolidate it, what you'll be doing this, you'll be recording the payment the payment for the transaction with the lesser value first, and you'll be associating this with a payment clearing account. So in order to create a new payment clearing account, you'll be going to the chart of accounts, select the account type as payment clearing itself, and provide a suitable account name, and you can click on save. So now we will be navigating to a transaction which consists of a lesser value when comparing both your sale and purchase. So in my case, it will be 1,000 rupees. So I'll be recording the payment using the payment clearing account. So by doing so, the closing balance of the payment clearing will be increased by 1,000 rupees. So I'll be going back to the same. I'll be going back to the purchase bill that I have purchased. Recording the payment for the same value of 1,000 rupees in the payment clearing account, so that the closing balance of payment clearing will be brought down to zero, and the balance amount that I need to pay, that is the 500 rupees, that the balance amount that I need to pay, I'll be recording the payment once again, and this time I'll be associating with the bank account or the cash account through which I'll be initiating a payment. So the balance 500 rupees has been paid separately with the help of the bank account, and the balance and the first 1,000 rupees has been associated using a payment clearing account. So if you check the closing balance of the payment clearing account, it will be 0, 1,000 and 1,000. As of now, the payment closing balance of payment clearing will be 0. Okay, and in Zoho Books, we do have a module known as automation. So let's say, for example, that or your employees had cracked a deal of a higher value. Let's say, for example, 10,000 rupees, they had cracked a deal with a particular customer. And whenever they had tracked a huge value deal, you can appreciate your employees for a particular, you can appreciate your employees based on the automation that you've configured. So you can configure this under settings automation. So here you'll be configuring the workflow rules. So I have provided a suitable workflow rule name, and you'll be selecting the trigger on when it will be configured. So I have selected the option either created or deleted. So when any selected field is updated, so here the field is total. When the total is greater than or equal to 10,000, we can trigger we can trigger an action to send an email alert automatically to the users. So here, so the email alert name is congratulations, and the from would be from me, that is the admin of the organization, and the email recipients would be the users of the organization. Either you can provide, you can select the users manually, or you can also select the roles in which each users have been provided access for. So if there are multiple users for a particular role, you can just select the role name, so that automatically the emails will be sent to all the users who have been associated with that particular role. So, and you can click on save. So whenever this condition has been satisfied, a trigger will be automatically initiated and an email will be sent to the employees of the organization. So a level of automation can be performed in Zoho Books. So you'll be configuring the workflow first. So under workflow, you will be able to set either it as an email alert or an in-app notification. In-app notification means it will be displayed under the notification panel, or if you wish to update any field in a particular transaction, like uh, if the value of the sale is greater than a particular value, you can provide a discount or you can update any particular field in a transaction. So field updates can be done. And webhook is that uh, based on an event that is taking place in Zoho Books, if you wish to trigger any event in a third-party application, let's say that if an invoice has been created successfully and if you wish to send a notification to a customer, so you can configure it as a webhook. So with the help of Deluge code, we'll be able to configure a webhook, post which and trigger will be sent to a third-party application to initiate an SMS automatically. And also, if you wish to configure any custom function in Zoho Books, you will be able to do this with the help of Deluge script. So you can create a new custom function. You can select the module for which you wish to implement the custom function, and automatically the syntax will be populated. So you can use a Deluge script to create a custom function, and you can implement in Zoho Books. And we do also have a feature known as reporting tags. So like, let's say there are various verticals in your businesses. Let's say that manufacturing is a separate vertical, quality is a separate vertical. If you wish to keep track of the accounts, like, or if you wish to associate a tag with your transactions to keep track of each of the vertical in your businesses, you can configure it as a reporting tag, and you can associate the reporting tag in your transactions. Let's say, for example, as expenses, invoices, in all the transactions, you'll be able to associate the reporting tag. So to create a reporting tag, you'll be creating this under settings and reporting tags. So you can create a new tag. So I've created a new tag named as manufacturing, under which I'll be separately tracking the expenses, income, miscellaneous, salaries, etc. So either while creating a expense, you do have the option to associate it with the reporting tag, the tag in which you wish to associate it. Let's say for most of the transactions, you'll be able to associate the reporting tags. So for an invoice, you can go to the item table, wherein you'll be able to view the option show additional information. So there you can select the reporting tag that needs to be associated along with the transaction. So with the help of reporting tags, you'll be able to generate the reports on a reporting tag. Like let's say, for example, while you're generating the P&L report, and if you wish to filter out the transactions which have been associated with the reporting tag, you can just select the customize report option. You'll be able to view add filters, and in the first drop down, you'll be able to select the reporting tag name and the subcategories of the reporting tag. As I've created multiple subcategories of the reporting tag, you can select that and you can generate a report. So I have associated a reporting tag in an expense for the salary subcategory. So automatically the report has been filtered out only for that particular reporting tag. So however, you can also compare the report based on reporting tags. So in the customize report option itself, you need not apply any filter. You can just select the option compare. Under that, you'll be able to view the option compare based on reporting tags. So I'm just comparing the salaries associated with the various reporting tags, and I'm running the report. I'll be able to perform a comparison between the reporting tag that has been already associated. So you can also export this report in the necessary format as per your requirement. So you can create a reporting tag, associate it in a transactions. You can filter out, you can generate reports based on reporting tags, and as well, like you can, while exporting the transactions, the reporting tag detail will also be present along with it. So if you wish to manually perform any customized report also, that can also be using done. So in the Excel sheet, uh, you can use a filter option to create to create a report as per your preference, and you'll be able to view the reporting tags details also in the export file that you have exported. And another most important feature that is available in Zoho Books is that at the end of your financial accounting, we do have an option known as transaction locking. So if you enable the transaction locking, and whatever, like while enabling the transaction locking, you'll be providing the date in which you wish to enable the transaction locking. So whatever the transaction that were recorded on or prior to that particular date will be locked, and you won't be able to make any changes to those transactions. So either you can lock all the modules or you can lock individual modules. Based on your requirement, you can enable transaction locking. So this will be very helpful during the financial year end process, so that you will be able to lag. So once all the finances have been finalized, you can log the transactions so that there won't be any further updates to the transactions. And from 1st of April, the government has mandated audit trail in the financial applications. So if you wish to generate an audit trail report, you can go to the reports module. Under the activities category, you'll be able to view the option activity logs and audit trail. So here you can generate the report and you can keep track of the activity that has been taking place in your Zoho Books organization. So we have come and end towards the webinar. So I hope this webinar has been useful for you.
Thank you so much for the session, Aravind. I think it was very useful and helpful for a lot of us here who have attended today, because we have gotten a lot of questions also. I hope most of the questions were answered by our product expert here. But if you have any more questions in the final part that Aravind just took, please post your questions in the question and answer tab here, and we will get back to you. We will be answering those live to you right now.
So in the invoice PDF view, we wish to display the customer contact number in the invoice. Okay, like you have already provided the contact details of the customer at the customer level. Automatically, in the customers module, you will be able to view the option customer work phone and mobile, right? So kindly remember the field in which you are providing the details. Let's say, for example, I had created a customer and provided the contact number here. So you can just verify if the concerned placeholders have been provided in the address format. So in order to check the address format, go to settings preferences. Under customers and vendors, you'll be able to view the customer and vendor billing address format and shipping address format. So kindly check if the placeholder has present in it. If not, you can just place your cursor in a new line click on the option Insert Placeholder. So under Contact itself, I've entered the mobile under the mobile number field. Not in the work phone, I'll enter the mobile in the mobile number field. So there you can insert the placeholder both in the shipping address as well as in the billing address format, and you can click on Save. So by doing so, automatically the value will be populated. So as you can see, the mobile number which I have provided is displayed here. Round off. So creating credit note because of this credit note. Can we categorize or associate credit card using expenses? Yes, you can. Like while creating an expense in the pay through account, instead of selecting a bank account, you can just select the credit card account that you have created. So I have created a credit card. So you can just select the credit card while creating an expense transaction. Or if you're categorizing the transaction, you can just go to add transaction. Under money out, you can select the transaction module which you wish to record. We do have an option known as transaction rules. Based on you'll be able to set up rule to like so that it will be automatically displayed as a suggestion. So, but however, all the transactions won't be matched or categorized automatically. There would be a certain amount of manual intervention in order to match the transaction or categorize it. There are payments associated with performer invoices. You can record it as an advanced transaction in Zoho Books. Like you can record it either, yeah, you can record it as a customer advance. And if you want to provide a receipt for it, you can rename the estimates or the sales order template to performer invoices, and then you can provide it to your customer. And the payments that you have received on behalf of performer invoices, you can record it as a advance, customer advance. Zoho Books, while filling round of amounts, we are creating credit note. Because of this, we are facing issue. with tally, HSNY sales, and actual sales while filing through Zoho Books, GSTR1, please assist. Like as I stated, we do have a round off option, so that can which can be enabled in your settings preferences. So on enabling that, your sale transactions will be automatically rounded off to the nearest whole number. So if you want to enable that, you can go to settings preferences. Under general, if you scroll down, you'll be able to view the option round off your sale transactions to the nearest whole number. So on enabling that, automatically the sale transactions will be rounded off to the nearest whole number. And if you wish to generate an HSNY summary of your GSTR1 report, you can generate a summary of outward supplies. At the bottom, we have provided an option known as HSNY summary of outward supplies. So you can generate or you can export that report in the CSV format as well. So as you can see in the summary of outward supplies, the last at the bottom, you'll be able to give a HSNY summary of outward supplies. So on selecting that, you'll be able to view the HSNY summary of your outward supplies. So this can be exported in the CSV format. The summary of outward supplies report can also be exported in the XLS PDF in the JSON format. So on exporting that, you'll be able to view the detailed report of your GSTR1. As you can see, you'll be able to view the B2B transactions, the B2C large, B2C small, credit note unregistered, credit note registered, export transactions, exempted transaction, HSNY summary of your report. All that can be exported to an Excel file and use it for your requirement. Another query here is that how to record a bill payment by third party on our behalf. So I presume that some other person has paid off your paid off the bill payment on behalf of you to your vendor. If that's the case, what you can do is that you can create a liability account and you can record the payment using that liability account. I'll just show you. So let's say that a friend of mine has paid my dues with my vendor on behalf of me. And if I'll be reimbursing the amount back to him at a later point of time, you can create a liability account in his name under the chart of accounts with account type as other current liability. And in the record payment, you can select that particular bill. You can select the record payment option. And that you'll be able to view the option pay through. So instead of associating with a bank or a cash account, you can just select the liability account so that the liability with that particular, so that the closing balance of the liability will be increased. So whenever you're reimbursing this amount back to that particular person, you can record it as an expense or a purchase bill as well. And the expense account or the bill account will be the liability account, and the pay through account will be the bank or the cash account, so that the liability will be reduced. While creating a sales bill, there is a tab to add salesperson, but I want to add another customer handling person name. That can it be possible? As I stated, the salesperson field is a single field, but however, if you wish to add a customer handling person separately, what you can do is that you can create a custom field for the invoices module. Like you can select the data type as either drop down or checkbox. As you can see, I'm trying to create a custom field for the invoices module. Let's say the field name is customer handling. The data type can be either drop down. In the drop down, I can just provide the options like handling person 1, handling person 2. So I've created a drop down. So while creating a new invoice, you'll be able to view that custom field as a drop down, and you can select the customer handling person while creating an invoice. When a sales or a purchase order goes void, can you explain why does it goes void? What is the implication it has in Zoho Books, and does it have any impact on financial accounting? So automatically, any transaction won't be getting into the void status by itself, unless and until there is a manual intervention. Only then the status of the transaction will be updated to void. So you can check the comments and history of that particular transaction to check if there is any user intervention or if there is any user who has manually voided the transaction. And as I stated, by creating a sales order while creating a sales order, the committed stock of the item will be increased. But however, creating a purchase order or converting a purchase order or a sales order into the void status, that doesn't have any impact in your financial accounting. Only transactions such as invoices, purchase bill, credit notes, vendor credits will impact your financial accounting, and the stock will be increased or decreased accordingly. Hi, Shalini. Regarding your questions, like there is no provision for performa invoices in Zoho Books. Performa invoices to be reflected and accounted for. We have received a lot of payments based on performa invoices, and we must have a consolidated overview of the same and be a project state. So, as I stated, you can rename the estimates or sales order to performa invoice. So you can rename the template as estimates of estimates or sales order to performa invoice, and you can associate the payment that has been received on behalf of performa invoice as an advanced transaction in Zoho Books. So once you record it as an advanced transaction, the available credits for the customer will be increased. So later on, when you create an invoice for that particular customer, you'll be able to view the option so and so amount of credits is available for that customer, whether you wish to apply those credits in the invoice. So during that time, you can apply the credits on the invoice so that the value of the invoice will be reduced considerably. The balance due of the invoice will be reduced considerably. Like your second query, project cost and unbilled status not visible in Zoho Books. Like, may I know where have you provided the cost of the project and how are you providing the details for the project? Would like to schedule reminders for billing from Zoho Books based. Like if you wish to automate any process, you can reach out to the support team explaining your requirement in brief so that we'll be able to check the feasibility of your requirement with the concerned team members, and then only we'll be able to provide you a confirmation on how to take it forward. So if there is anything that needs to be automated, kindly reach out to the support team. We'll check the feasibility of your request and then we will be reverting back with you. Your third query is also regarding an automation. Like once if an status has been approved, billing request must be created. Like where will you be approving the deliverable status, in which transaction will you be approving, and like as of now, triggering a billing request can't be automated. Like you can reach out to the support team with your explanation of your requirement in brief, so that we will check the feasibility of it and we'll revert back with you. Your fourth query, we don't want each person's name and salary to be displayed in balance sheet. It should be summarized. So if you don't want it to be, if you don't want to display each of your employees' name in the balance sheet, rather what you can do is that you can create it as an expense or a purchase bill, associate expense or a purchase bill associating the salaries and employee wages account. If you wish to split up the salaries based on each employee, you can rather what you can do is that you can record each employee as a vendor, and and you can record it as a purchase bill. While creating the purchase bill, you can associate the salaries and employee wages account, so which would be a common account wherein you will be able to view a consolidated value of salaries that has been provided, and you will also be able to split the salaries based on each of your employee, since you have configured it as a vendor in Zoho Books. We also have Zoho Projects. How does the integration with Zoho Books and Zoho Projects work? Maybe a deliverable done in Zoho Projects can trigger a billing request in Zoho Books after manager approval. So I presume that you wish to trigger a transaction creation on approving in Zoho Projects. So get that checked. So kindly explain your workflow on how will you be approving it in Zoho Projects, so that we'll get that checked with our team and I'll revert back with you. So the integration of Zoho Projects and Zoho Books is that whenever you create it, once the integration has been done with projects and books, if there are any projects that has been created in Zoho Projects, automatically the data will be shared to Zoho Books as well, from which you'll be able to raise an invoice or an expense. You'll be able to associate the transactions from Zoho Books itself. But however, if you wish to modify any details of the project, so if that project has been created in Zoho project, then you need to edit the details in Zoho projects alone. You won't be able to edit the details of the project in Zoho Books. However, if the project has been created and configured in Zoho Books alone, then you will be able to modify and update the details in Zoho Books itself. So while preparing invoice, we are doing rounding off, but while receiving the payment from customer, deducting some 1 rupees. So for which we are creating have credit note, which is creating a mismatch in a GSTR1 filing with HS&Y sales. So if the customer is deducting 1 rupees and if you're creating a credit note for that, uh, while creating a credit note, kindly don't associate it with any GST tax and don't provide any HSN number. Rather, while creating a credit note, just provide a suitable description in the item table and select the tax as out of scope so that it doesn't come under the scope of GST itself. And also you can apply the credits on the invoice so that the invoice and as well the credit note will be updated as closed.
Hi everyone. I hope most of the questions were answered here. It's almost time. If you have any one more question, we will take that, and we would like to end the session after that. So, if there is any question, one last question, you can post it in the question and answer tab here. If any of your questions weren't answered and if you feel that you need more clarity for your queries, you can definitely reach out to our support team at support.india@zohobooks.com. So if you request for a callback, our team will get back to you shortly. Okay, so I think it's time for us to end the session here. We are really glad that you all joined, and this session was very informative for all of you. So again, let me repeat myself. If you have any more queries or if any of your queries has not been answered here, please reach out to support.india@zohobooks.com. Our team will reach out to you shortly for any callback requests or any queries that you have asked. So thank you for joining the session. Thank you for joining this session. This session has been recorded. So as I mentioned earlier, that this recording will be sent to your email ID in 3 to 5 business days. So you can revisit this recording and see where and all you can find if you have missed out on anything. Thank you for joining the session. Have a great day.